Welcome to Video Basics with Dennis. Today we're going to be talking about some simple editing do's and don'ts, but they're very important. Let me start off by saying that in some forms of media, the quality of the product can directly be measured by the number of edits. That is, the more cuts in your raw footage, the better your video will be. Obviously that's not true for all formats, but our eyes are trained for some amount of action and edits when we're watching TV. That being said, we're going to talk about the worst edit you can possibly make, the jump cut.
There was once a hypothesis, and it was proven via scientific experiment, fact, a little bit of computer knowledge, that the following video is 100% medically accurate.
We're talking about jump cuts today. A jump cut happens when you cut from one angle to the exact same camera angle. This will result in a horrible looking jump from one shot to the next.
99% of the time, this will look terrible. 100% of the time.
And on a side note, it's not bad to cut from one camera angle to another. Not only is that acceptable, it's the standard. Our eyes have been trained over the years following camera movements in movies and TV shows. So don't feel bad when you cut from one angle to another. The only trick is to have your talent's movements look fluid. If they're waving in one shot, you want them to be waving the exact same way in the next shot. We'll go more into depth on continuity in a later episode of Video Basics because it is extremely important.
100% of the time.
As you're probably noticing, jump cuts seriously detract from the quality of your product, as it's hard to pay attention to what's going on when your eyes are very distracted. Believe me when I say that the average viewer may not be able to identify that the problem with your video is jump cuts are the problem with your video, but they will be able to tell that your video is shit. Now that we agree that jump cuts are bad, let's talk about how to prevent them.
No one can really be sure why someone would use a jump cut.
But we've seen it happen far too many times. Jump cuts are usually the result of shooting the scene one line at a time and/or a complete lack of angles. When you're shooting something, you should be shooting the entire sequence from start to finish multiple times from different angles and mixing in wides, mediums, and tights. This way, if your talent messes up, you'll have something else to cut to. What's my line? Next. But that's not going to happen because you're going to make sure your talent's well rehearsed. Once video's rolling, they shouldn't have to stop and ask you what they need to say or what they need to do. Also, I generally follow the rule that I should be spending as much time, if not even more time, on pre-production as I do on post-production. As a director, producer, or director of photography, you should be thinking about what you want to see and what angles you want to see it from long before you ever get to the set. That being said, let's take a look. I like to compare my video production to cooking. The more ingredients I have in my kitchen, the better my dish is going to be. Okay, so let's imagine this master shot is mashed potatoes. It's really good by itself, but what if we had some butter? That's good too. Then I start getting crazy. I add some bacon and some sour cream. That way when I mix them all together, all the flavors play together and look a little like this. The lesson to be learned here is simple. Get lots of shots and evil jump cuts will eliminate themselves. I'm Dennis, and these are Video Basics.